Hi everyone, and welcome to Creative Chelsey. Today I'm excited to share with you my second alternative card using the March 2023 paper pumpkin kit called 10 Years of Growth in celebration of Paper Pumpkin's 10-year anniversary. This beautiful kit creates 9 handmade cards. These are the intended cards you can make with the kit. There are enough supplies to make 3 of each card. I love the green and purple and blue color combinations. If you would like to watch me unbox this kit and create these cards, click on the playlist and I'll link it up here in the top right corner. Each month, I take the contents from the paper pumpkin kits and make alternative projects. Today I'm sharing with you another variation to the original design for this card. By separating the main bookshelf element with a dark border, it gives my card a stepped-up look. Also, we will decorate the inside where the shaded spruce is covering the opening. Don't miss out on next month's kit. I am so excited about the stained glass images and beautiful floral designs that will be in this kit. It will include everything you need to make 9 cards, 3 in 3 different designs, plus a box organizer that will make storing your ink spots so easy. Make sure to subscribe by April 10th using the link in the description box below. If you are new to my channel and would like to continue to see all of my paper pumpkin alternatives, make sure to subscribe using the link in the bottom right corner. The first step in making this card is to separate the bookshelf from the card base. And we want to keep the card base intact so that we can use it for our card. So to do this, we are going to measure about a 1/2 inch all the way around, but we're only going to cut on the inside. We're not going to cut all the way through that piece. So let's go ahead and start on the right side, measure at a 1/2 inch. Just double check that your scoring line or your cutting line does not cut the bookshelf image. And then bring your cutting blade into the center of the bookshelf image and you'll cut up to a 1/2 inch and down to 5 inches. And you're going to use the measuring tool on your cutting guide. And then there's this line on your scoring blade, and that's going to show you where to stop cutting. Then we're going to rotate, and we'll do a 1/2 inch again, bring it into the cutting area. Make sure you don't cut the bookshelf and go up to that cut line. Make sure you touch it, and then go down. And we're going to stop at let's see, a 1/2 inch would be 3 3/4 of an inch. Okay, then rotate again. This time, because we're not going to measure along this edge, we need to measure along this edge here. And so it's a 1/2 inch less than 4 1/4. So that's 3 3/4 of an inch. Again, double check that everything's going in the right place. You can cut up to that cut line, make sure it touches, and then down to 5 inches. And then our last cut will be here at the top. So go ahead and measure at 1/2 inch. And this cut is easy because we're just going to go from the line to line. But it's a little bit close when I lay down my cutting blade. So this one's going to need to be a little bit smaller. So I'm just going to start by moving it down a 1/16 of an inch, maybe a little bit more, just to double check. And then I'm going to go up to that cut line and across to that next cut line. Now, because I cut that a little bit smaller, I need to take a pair of paper snips and just finish cutting these corners. So just slide it in and do a little cut right there in each corner. And that's only if you needed to change it. There we go. All right, so I get this really beautiful bookshelf piece that I can now pop up in the center of my card. You're also going to want to cut a piece from Shaded Spruce cardstock that will cover this opening. And I've cut a piece that is 3.5 inches by 4 7/8 inches. We're also going to take one of the envelopes and we're going to remove this color section from the flap. And then just even off the edges. So I'm going to start on one side, cut off those angles, and then the curve at the bottom, and then this one here. And we'll add this to the inside of our card. We might need to trim it down a little bit more, but this is going to be used on the inside to help decorate that shaded spruce opening. Our next step is to do some stamping. So on the bookshelf, I did want to add another kind of branch or leaf element. So I've stamped this image, can you see that, in shaded spruce in the background. And then I've also stamped my greeting. And then on the inside, I've stamped a second greeting, happy birthday. And both of these are done in polished pink. So let's go ahead and do that. Start with the front. So on the bookshelf, in shaded spruce, or another green color that you have, I'm just going to stamp, and I'm going to stamp it kind of on the right side. And then we're done with shaded spruce for this card. So let's pull in our polished pink color, and on the label from the kit, I'm going to stamp my greeting. And I wanted to use for this card, "To an Incredible Woman." So ink that up with the polished pink. I love this bright pink color with the greens and purples and blues in this card. And go ahead and stamp that in the center. Remember that if there's any problems with your stamping, you can always flip it over and try again on the other side. So next, on some scratch paper, and this is just basic white scratch paper, I'm going to stamp happy and birthday. I will be fussy cutting these out for the inside of my card as well. You can see how I did it. Okay, so now we're ready to start putting the card together. You're going to take your card base and carefully fold it along the score line. I'm going to flip it over to the back side and use my bone folder to make that crease so that I don't accidentally catch this edge. Next, I'm going to line this up, and with a little bit of washi tape, I'm going to create a hinge, and this is going to make it really easy for me to add adhesive and apply it without worrying about getting glue in everywhere. So once I find the center of my card base, I'm going to create a hinge on one side. It doesn't matter which side. I'm going to do this at the top. I'm going to stick down a couple pieces of washi tape, and then I can lift this up here. Then I can take a little bit of liquid glue and add just a tiny little bit of glue along the edge of my shaded spruce piece. You can see how skinny this glue, how much glue I'm adding. It's just the smallest border right along the edge, as close to the edge as I feel comfortable. And then because I've created that hinge, I know that when I lay this back down, it's going to be in the center of my card base. And hopefully the glue has not seeped out on the inside. That looks pretty good. And then I can carefully remove my washi tape. Depending on how sticky it is, just make sure you don't tear your cardstock. Oh, we got a little bit of a tear there, but that's okay. So then I can add my bookshelf, and I do want to add this with dimensionals. I'm starting to run out of my little minis, so I'm going to find my regular size dimensionals, and these are from another kit. And I'm going to add this to the center of my Shaded Spruce piece. Just like that. I love how adding that little bit of darker cardstock behind really makes this pop. Okay, so now I'm going to start to add my other elements. I want to include here my little pot. And because I stamped my greeting or my background image off to the side, it looks like it's not quite growing in the pot, but that's okay. I'm going to next add my die cut piece. So this is the one that has the gold foiling on it. And I am popping this up with dimensionals. I shared yesterday how I cut the dimensionals for these skinny little leaves here. And I like to use the edge, and I've just cut in the hills and the valleys. And then I just take my paper snips, or you could use a take a pick tool and pick it up, and then I can place it on those leaves. And for this one, I'm going to do 2 at the bottom and 2 at the top. And then I'll just tuck that right into the center of my pot and add it to my card. Just like that. I love adding that little bit of pop with those dimensionals. Then I can add my greeting. I do want to kind of slide it underneath my leaves that I've just added. Make sure it goes on nice and straight. So you'll get something that looks like this. I've also added some sequins to the front. These are the gold faceted adhesive backed sequins, and they come in a lot of fun shapes. I'm just going to do the circles, and I'm going to use my take a pick tool. I'm going to add a large one over here on the left side, and then maybe a small one down near the bottom, and let's do another large one here at the top. Something like that. You can really add them wherever you want. I just love adding that little extra touch of gold to the card. So that's the front. Let's go ahead and design the inside next. So for the inside, we're going to take that strip from the envelope and we're going to add it at the bottom. And this just gives us a fun little color to that shaded spruce. So choose the area of color that you like best. So you can either choose the one with like this bright pink section, or you can go with this lighter pink section. For the first card, I did this lighter pink. So I'm going to try this darker pink on this side. And I need to cut it at 3 1/4. So my final dimension is 3 1/4 and just under 2 inches. And that's going to sit right inside that opening, just like that at the bottom. So I can take some adhesive and I'll add this, and you can really add it however you want, whichever direction. And it should just fit right inside that opening. So you'll get something that looks like this. So now I'm going to add a couple more pieces. So I've fussy cut out my happy and my birthday. And I'm also using one more little plant. This is kind of the little bushy plant die cut. And then the little white pot. And I'm not going to use dimensionals on any of these because I don't want it to be too thick on the inside. So you can use any type of adhesive. I'm just going to use a little bit of liquid adhesive here. So my little pot is going to go, I'm going to put all of my images right along this line, and that's going to cover up the it's going to make it feel more seamless because that seam will be covered up. So I've added this little pot first to the left, and then I'm going to add the plant on the inside of that pot. You can place this however you want, whichever direction. I don't think there's a right or wrong with this little guy. And then happy will go next. Just add a little adhesive to those larger areas. And stick that on so that it covers up that line. If you would like to pop any of those leaves on top, you can. And then you can add birthday underneath your happy. And you can place this anywhere. I've just added it along the right side over the Y. Oh, we don't want it upside down. So right about there is where I've placed it. Okay, so really cute way to decorate the front and the inside of this card. If you also would like to add some of the gold sequins, you can do that. I'm going to take a couple of them and just place them at the top there, and then maybe a large one down here by the birthday. Okay, so you can really add those wherever you want. And your card is all done. Well, I hope you enjoyed watching me create this fun variation to the March 2023 Paper Pumpkin Kit. If you are interested in getting your own Paper Pumpkin subscription, please do so using the link in the description below. If you would like to see written instructions or close-up images on how I created this card, you can visit my blog, creativechelsey.com. Thanks so much for watching. Have a creative day. Bye.